Welcome back to Have I Finished My Beetle? Up until this point, we've got to this point. Structurally, chassis is pretty much done, apart from any weight reduction that I'm going to do at a later point. We know that our motor and our flipper actually work, and it's self-right. However, we need to get these motors working. So today I'm going to try and get this thing moving. Now, I actually tell a lie, because this is actually moved under its own RC power back when it had 25mm gear motors instead of the 22s that we put in now. Surprisingly, it worked really well. Control issues aside, that was probably my poor driving more than anything. And got some new ESCs from the Bristol bot builders. They have been doing God's work, and I suggest if you want to build a Beetle weight or an amp weight or even a featherweight, go to them first, because they have some good tools, good guides and plentiful stock. So let's get this stripped down, let's get the motors out and get them wired up. Probably going to get this wrong, because wiring up is not my forte. As I experienced on original Volta, I know people will jump on me and probably say that is wrong, and I'll be inclined to agree, to be honest, but I think this is how it goes. So I'm planning on running Volta on this. This is a 11.1 volt 3-cell LiPo battery. It's pretty common use for Beetles. I'm going to put that back in there now, and I've shown that off. This is my receiver that I got with my controller, and because the battery is 11 volts or over 11 volts, this does not run on 11 volts, it runs on something like 5, which means that the voltage needs to be knocked down, which is where the UBET comes in, the battery eliminator circuit. That knocks down the battery to a more manageable to power the receiver, to receive signals, to power the motors. These are the Bristol bot builders speed controllers. This twirly end goes into the receiver on one channel. These, I believe, are wired up to the battery, up to the main power in the circuit, and these pads, I believe here, M1 and M2, are soldered onto our motor. There is a very handy guide on the Bristol bot builders website, and I urgently recommend noobs like myself to go and look at that, because it is pretty straightforward, and once you know what you're doing, I think, yeah, quid's in really. So here we go, a couple of leading wires coming from the motor. All that I need to do now is add a bit of heat shrink and then attach the speed controller to this end. Simple. So we're all soldered up. There's a bit of a spaghetti junction in there. Each motor does have a speed controller. We come on to this battery eliminator circuit. Now on these ESCs, the battery eliminator is already built in, but the new speed controllers do not have a battery eliminator, so we have to use a standalone circuit. So what I will need to do is probably make a terminal on here somewhere, so I can attach my battery eliminator circuit, and that will then divert some of the power from the battery to the receiver. Now this is where it gets squeaky bum time, because as far as I'm aware, this circuit is pretty much good to go. Now all that I need to do is basically hook up the battery, and well, that's scary in itself, because LiPo batteries are notoriously dangerous. There's probably pros out there watching me like, oh, he's fine. Like, I am dead nervous about this. I do not want a LiPo fire, so I do not trust my wiring at all. I've got these as well. This is probably overkill, but I am genuinely quite nervous. I don't want anything to go wrong. I followed the wiring diagram. It should all be fine. I don't have a removable link at the moment, or the LEDs. That will be the next step. Get that out of the way. I'm so scared. Should we try turning this on? Oh. Oh, and the motor's spinning. Right, I'm going to turn that off. So that is success. Both of these wheels were moving and the weapon one. Right, one of them is jammed on. Oh, fail safes. I turned off the controller and it stopped. So that's good. Right, it does work. It does work. I can take these off now. It does work. I just need to sort out what the hell's happening with this wheel and see if I can rein it in. Oh my god, I think I've got it. It will need mixing. One just keeps spinning much quicker than the other. Should we take it down to the floor? Let's take it to the floor. This is backwards. Yeah, my orientation on the controller is pants. But bloody work. Day 2 of my marvellous electrical adventures. I have made a decision. This is where the LEDs are going. I cut out a little corner so the wires can route through underneath. Now I think it's time to hook it up to this, the junction. There we go. Blue lights all around. So I'm now at a stage where I can start to think about the removable link. This is an XT60. Goes into one of these adapters which will be mounted onto the back plate of Volta. So I can kill the power by pulling out the removable link. Part of the UK build rules that you have to have a removable link, LEDs, which we've seen, and a fuse. And you can actually incorporate the fuse into the link, I found out. So you don't have to fanny around having to put in a bladed fuse holder or having exposed short wires or whatever. You can put it in the link. Basically the fuse will go hopefully before any of the electronics to save the battery from destroying the rest of the machine. That's what it is in practice. Right, soldering irons on. Let us get this soldered up. Come on, get in there. It's not amazingly clean by any stretch of the imagination, but it'll do. It's in. Let's wrap it with tape. Okay, the moment of truth. Volta is pretty much good to go. I've got a set of digital scales here. Now the magic number that we are after is 1.5 kilograms. So here we go. Oh